Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new corner of my new office, which I'll be sharing shortly. Today I'm filming a Q&A video because I was thinking back to the last time I had done a Q&A video, a generalized Q&A, and I couldn't think of it, and so I looked on my YouTube channel, and it's been since last September, so it's been almost an entire year. Since then I have done, I did a couples Q&A with my husband, and then we also did I also did a Disney Cruise Line Q&A, but I haven't just done a general Q&A. So I reached out on Instagram and wanted to see if anybody had any questions for me, and there were some questions, and so I am going to respond to those of them that I can. That was a weird intro, but here we go. As with all of my Q&A videos, I don't share the person who asked the question because some people don't want to be shared online, and then some people, I don't know how to say their name, and then I'm just wasting time. So instead of doing all that, I'm just going to share the question. So the first question is, what are your go-to activities when you need to recalibrate? Which is a great question. I think it's so different for each person. For me, it's unplugging from technology, so taking a social media free weekend, not being on my computer, putting my phone away, that kind of thing, taking a hot bath, spending some time reading my Bible and journaling, taking a long walk, kind of the more typical things, I would say. But unplugging from technology is one of the best ways for me to recalibrate because my job requires me to be online so much and answering questions so often and all that kind of thing, and so being able to take a break from that is huge. Someone else asked, what has been your favorite part of being a YouTube vlogger? I just think in general that it's fun. I really enjoy documenting our journey and our life and the different seasons and all these different things. But what I love is connecting with you. I love being able to have virtual friends all over the world and be able to interact with people that I probably will never meet in real life or would never meet even online if it weren't for YouTube. So that's my favorite thing, is being able to message with and comment and talk to people who live such different lives from me or very similar lives from me, but in completely different places. I just think it's really neat. Someone asked, what's your favorite Disney character other than the classics? I love Merida from the movie Brave. I love her. I relate to her a whole lot, and I just love that movie so much. So she's one of my favorites that isn't really a classic. I also, on the more villainous side of things, think Gaston from Beauty and the Beast is hilarious, although Beauty and the Beast is a classic, so I don't know if that counts. Someone asked, was Charlie your dog before you and Riley started dating, or did you get him as a couple? Yes, Charlie was my dog before we started dating. This coming September, in a few days here, it might be September by the time this video is posted, Charlie is turning 5 in September, and I got him as a puppy in 2013, in December of 2013, and Riley and I started dating the following month in late January, and then we officially started dating in well, we started talking in January, we went on our first date in February, and I think we started officially dating in March or April, something like that. My timeline's a little fuzzy, but Charlie was my dog. I got Charlie, he was my dog, and then Riley came into the picture after, but now Charlie likes Riley better than me, so don't get me started on that. I got several questions about my favorite Bible studies, my favorite devotionals, how I spend time in the morning with God, what that looks like. So lately I've been sitting in this chair, but this summer I've been sitting outside on my porch a whole lot. But basically what I do is I usually brew a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, or I'll just get a big glass of water. And the first thing I usually do is journal. So I usually 1 or 2 pages in my journal, and I just kind of write out what I'm thinking about, what's on my mind, what's on my heart, prayers for other people. I just process really well through writing. So that's usually the first thing I do, is journal for a little while, and that kind of helps clear my head and helps me be more receptive to whatever God is teaching me in that day or that season. Then after that, I will usually crack open a devotional, and there are several that I've liked, but my favorite of all time, I don't even know what the name of it is. I've always called it the Blue Book. I will link it below. It doesn't really have a title. It just became available on Amazon, actually, I think this year, and it was a huge deal. So I don't even know who the author of this book is. Basically what happened was, when I was a freshman in college, one of my small group leaders had this book, stacks of this book in her car, in her trunk, and she gave me one of them and said, this is such an amazing devotional. And so I got it and I have loved it. You should see my copy. It is like tattered and worn. And so many people over the years that I've shared parts of this devotional with and things have asked where to get one, and I'm like, I don't know. There's no author listed on it. There's no like publishing company listed on it. It's just literally this book that has a blue cover. Well, since then, whoever the author is decided to get it like done so that you can get it on Amazon. So I will link it below. It basically is broken up. It has like dozens of different chapters, and each chapter is thematic. So maybe grief or emptiness or joy or whatever, different like emotions and different things. And then within each chapter there are daily scripture readings, there are daily prayers, things to contemplate. And then what I love is that there are a variety of different passages from literature and different philosophers and different people of faith throughout the ages, who they have compiled all of that and put that into relevant passages into each chapter. That is my favorite. So anyway, after I journal, I usually grab a devotional, whether it's the blue book or I've had many ones over the years, but the blue book is the one I'll mention because that's my favorite. And then I will open up my Bible and read for a while. I'll pray for a while. And I try not to be too, I don't know what the word is, too like strict with myself about what has to be done when. I try to allow the Spirit to work. So like if I sit down and I really just need to pray and I don't need to journal, I'll do that. Or if I really just need to read scripture and what, like I just kind of listen to how I think God is leading me. But it is life-changing. It changes my mornings, it changes my days, changes my weeks, changes my years. And when you change all those things, you change your life. So I can't recommend it enough. I hope that's helpful to you. Like I said, I'll link that blue book below. It's a really good way to start off a daily scripture practice because it breaks it up into little digestible chunks, and it's amazing. Someone said, what made you want to start going to the gym after saying that you're not a gym person? I don't remember saying I'm not a gym person, but I'm sure I said it. I've said a lot of things. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned since blogging and now YouTubing is to be careful what I say, because a lot of times I'm like a very passionate person. I get really into things, and so I'll like make these declarations about I allegedly said like I'm not a gym person, or I'll say I'm never going to use this, or I'll never do this again, or whatever, and then times will change and years will go on and I will do the thing that I said that I wasn't ever going to do. So I've learned to be more careful about saying like, for now I'm not going to do X, Y, or Z. But in the future that might change because things change, like priorities change, whatever. So I still wouldn't be like, I'm a gym person. Like if I go to the gym, y'all, I go for 30 or 45 minutes. I do some cardio, I do some stretching, I do maybe a couple of weights on a good day, and I head home. I do not like being in the gym for like 18 hours. Well, that's excessive. Even for like 2 or 3 hours, like some people do. It's just not my thing. But I have enjoyed going and just moving my body. It's helped with my back pain. It's helped with my mental health. I've definitely enjoyed it. So I don't know really what changed. Just time went on and I decided that I wanted to start going to the gym again, and I've really enjoyed it. Someone asked, what is the best relationship advice that you've ever received? And of course I could tell you some more serious things like forgive each other, open up lines of communication, which those things are all more important than what I'm about to say. But I think this is a really good nugget of advice. My mom told me before we got married, she said, make sure you always have something to look forward to on the calendar. And we have really taken that to heart. And I think it's a really good piece of advice that is less obvious than keep lines of communication open, be forgiving, those kinds of things. But it's really important. And her whole kind of thought process was, life gets really mundane, and when you have something on the calendar to look forward to, even if it's 9 months away or 10 months away or a year away, it is such a nice thing to have. And so she was like, whether it's a staycation, whether you have a nice dinner on the books in a couple months, if you're going away, whatever it is. And Riley and I, my husband, have really done that. We sit down at least like once a month and talk about the next few months and put some fun things on the calendar, and we book little getaways and meals and special things, because life can get really monotonous if you don't have little things to look forward to. And I think having things to look forward to and plan for together is very bonding and really fun in a marriage. And then also going and experiencing those things, of course, is super fun. So I don't know that it's like the most important relationship I've ever, received, because like I said, there are other things that are more important, but I think that's really good advice. Someone asked, how many kids can you see yourself having? We've gotten a lot of questions like this. I'm not sure. I don't know. When I was little, I always wanted like 5 or 6 kids, but now that I'm older, I don't know if I want that many. We don't have any kids, so I just feel like I don't want to, count my eggs before they hatch or whatever. Like, I want to wait until we have 1 to see if we want 2, to see if we want 3. I don't foresee us having 1. I think we want at least 2. And then from there, we'll have to see if 2 is, where our family sits, or if we want 3 or 4 or 5. Like, I don't know. I'm very, very, very open-handed about that, because I think it's hard to say before having any kids. Although I know some people know exactly how many they have, and that's how many they have, but we don't know. We've thrown around a lot of different numbers over the years. So once we have 1, we'll see how many more we want, or once we have 2 or whatever. So that's that. Someone said, have you ever been to the Food and Wine Festival at Disney? I have, and I loved it, and I would love to go back. Someone else said, what is your favorite Disney park and why? For years, I've been saying that Magic Kingdom is my favorite Disney park because it's so nostalgic, it's so beautiful, and it is those things, and it's just, there's nothing like it, all these things. But lately, I think Epcot is my favorite park. I just crave going to Epcot, and when we're in Disney, we spend so much time in Epcot. I just love Epcot, so I think Epcot might be my new favorite park for now. And then next year, if I change it to another park, just know that I'm saying for now it's Epcot. Someone said, what was the hardest part about moving so far away from your family? I've thought about filming an entire, standalone video about this several times, because people ask me questions about this a lot. I live in Texas, my family's on the East Coast, and so we are very far away. It's almost, it's physically drivable, but it's like a 25 to 30 hour drive, so it's not great. I would say the hardest part is that we're not involved in each other's day-to-day lives at all, and so there's like a lack of connection that comes with that. It's just kind of like when you don't see the same people and go to the same places and grocery shop at the same store and like just live in the same area, there's like this, it makes it harder in some ways. And I don't know how to exactly articulate that, but I think I've talked a lot over the years on my blog about the difficulty of having friends that you don't do life with every day, because there's less to talk about because you don't have as much overlap. And I think that's probably the easiest way to say it. Not having daily overlap is, I think, really hard. It's really hard. It just is. And it makes it's hard sometimes to know what to connect over and things like that, because the daily things that make it really easy to connect have been stripped away by being, 30 hours away or whatever. So there are hard parts for sure about moving far away from family. I don't regret it. I know that it's what I was meant to do, and I'm really, really happy, but that aspect of not having overlap in our day-to-day lives is definitely a loss. Someone said, will you ever get Charlie a companion? Not anytime soon. I do not want another dog anytime soon. Maybe at some point in the future, but not anytime soon. As much as I love my Charlie, he's like house trained. He's gonna be 5 next month. He's super easy. He's super low maintenance. He's just like so easy, and I just want to let that be. I don't want to start over. I don't want to throw another dog into the mix. Neither of us are really interested in that at this point in our lives. Someone said, I'm struggling to have a dedicated quiet time with the Lord every day. I have 3 kids and a full-time job. Any advice? First of all, I don't have any kids, obviously, and so it's hard for me to speak to that. But what I will say is that literally every other family at our church has, all of them have individually have 3 children each. And I know that those my friend Jenny in particular, who I'm especially close with, she, I know, gets up early. That's just what she does. She gets up at like 5:30 and spends that time with the Lord. And she always tells me, she's like, it's so crazy because God just multiplies my energy. She's like, when I wake up at 7 and I don't have my quiet time, I feel tired all day. But somehow when I wake up at 5:30 or 6 and have my quiet time before my kids get up, God just multiplies my energy and just gives me back more than what I needed. And I feel more sustained throughout the day. So I don't know if that's something you would want to try, but I know that some of my friends, that's what they do, and they found a lot of benefit from that in a lot of different ways. Someone said, any tips for people like me who are trying to slow down and live more simply? This is like one of my favorite topics. The first thing I would say is to clear your weeknights. Clear your weeknights. This is something that we have held so dear to us throughout our entire marriage, is to not have events like every weeknight. That it makes your life feel so suffocating. Getting up, going to work, coming home, cooking dinner, cleaning the house, going to an event, coming back late, trying to, get the rest of the housework done, going to bed, doing it all over again 5 days a week will make you feel crazy, like crazy. So when we got married, I remember we sat down one afternoon and we had a really long conversation while we were engaged, and we said, when we get married, we're not going to plan stuff on weeknights. And the only exception for us is that we go to a 2-hour Bible study from 6:30 to 8:30 every Thursday night, but that is the only thing. And we have been invited to things on Wednesday nights and we've said no. We've been invited to things on Monday and Tuesday nights and we've said no. And we just keep our weeknights clear. And it is amazing what it has done for living simply and for our mental health, because Monday through Friday, with the exception of Thursday, we just don't have plans. We're able to just enjoy life. Like, Riley gets home from work, we cook dinner, we wrap up whatever projects we're working on for the day, we'll go take a long walk, we'll fold laundry together, we'll lay on the couch and watch a movie. Like, having that more slow pace in the evenings has made a world of difference. And that's something that we talk about a lot with regards to when we choose to have kids, what that's going to look like, because both of us, my husband and me, both grew up where we had sports practices and this and that like every night of the week. And I don't know how we're going to cross that bridge when we get there, but what I do know is that being at home on weeknights has changed our family and our dynamic in such a positive direction. So we're going to have to really weigh what we add to our schedule. So that would be my first tip, is to try to clear off your weeknights as much as possible. The second thing I would say is to turn off technology. Like, get off the computer, turn off the TV, that kind of thing. That, like, physical quiet helps a lot, I think, with mental quiet. Someone asked where my monogrammed ring is from. It's like, I don't know how easily that's going to show up, but it's just a little ring. It has my monogram on it. My sister gave it to me for a wedding gift. She gave it to me the night before my wedding, and it has my now monogram on it. At that time, it was my new monogram. And I think she got it from marleylily.com. I'll put that link below. But if you go on Etsy and search, it's called a signet ring. If you search signet rings, there are like so many of these, and a lot of times local jewelers will have these as well. Someone said, can you do a video on time management and how you structure your day/week? I have done videos on both of those things. So here I will link a video on time management that I've done in the past few months. And I will also link a video on a plan with me video, which is how I lay out my weeks as far as to-do lists and things like that. So both of those will be linked above if you want to check them out. Someone asked, is your home 4 bedrooms? Do you plan to stay there when children come into your family? Yes, we do have 4 bedrooms. One of them I'm in, one of them's our guest room, one of them is, we call it Riley's room. It has like his guitars and video games and a big couch and things like that in it. And then our master. So we have 4 total bedrooms. Yeah, we plan on staying in this house for the foreseeable future. We are hoping and praying that our next move will be to land. We would like to buy some land and build on it. I'm so excited about that. I don't know if that will be in 5 years, 10 years, but I think that might be our next, that's at least what we hope is our next step. There might be maybe another house in between here and there, but that's our long-term plan for sure, is to buy land and build. So yeah, we definitely plan on staying in this house for the next 5 or 10 years. So if we have children during that time, certainly we plan on staying here, but this isn't one of those things to file under, I really don't know. I mean, we could move next year. You never really know. But today, as of today, August 28th, that's where we stand. I have gotten so many questions, like literally dozens and dozens of questions about when our next Disney trip is, when are we going on our next Disney trip, what's our next Disney trip gonna be like, all this kind of stuff. Okay, so we have a Disney trip that is on the books, but I'm not sharing about it quite yet. I like to share about our trips when they are completely good to go, when they're totally paid off, when all the flights are booked, when everything's good, so that they're very cemented, because I would hate to share and then come back and be like, actually we're not doing that, or we changed things. So I will share about it once everything is more settled and completely ready to go, but we do have one on the books. I'm really excited about it. Someone asked if we've ever been to Universal parks in Orlando. Yes, actually. We went in May of 2016, and we went to both of the Universal Studios and then Islands of Adventure, I think. And we enjoyed both of those a lot. So it was the kind of thing that we were like, well, we'll come to Universal maybe every, I don't know, X amount of trips that we go to Orlando. So we haven't been back since 2016, but that was only a couple of years ago. So I'm sure we'll go back sometime soon. Someone said, do you hate when people ask you when you and your husband are going to have children? Kind of. I kind of do. I just feel like it's a very, very personal question to ask someone, like, when they're going to time having sex to make a baby. Like, I feel like that's a really personal question to ask someone you don't know. So I don't hate it, and I understand that people just like want to know, or they're like excited for us to have kids or whatever. But I'm just like, okay, like, it's a little personal. Someone asked, what's the best sound machine again? Because I have talked about our white noise machine like 1,000 times. I'm obsessed with it. I will link it below. It's called the Dome, and it is like this wonderful sound machine that's it's actually a fan, so it's not a sound recording. It's literally making the noise as it pulls air and pushes air out. We have had ours for years. I'm obsessed with it. I'll link it below. Someone said, how do you stay self-motivated when you don't feel emotionally or physically great? I do not. The past couple of weeks, I've dealt with some anxiety and just like stress and not coping well with things, and just I have not been very motivated, y'all. This past weekend, I like got my house back together, did lots of laundry, cleaned our kitchen, did the, washed the sheets, washed the towels, planned, my meals, went on a big grocery trip, like all those things. But for the weeks before that, I really didn't. So, sometimes we all get into a rut, and when I'm in a rut, I have a hard time getting out of it. So I don't know. I think it's just sometimes we just get in ruts, and I'm not like some superhero where I like push through and I'm getting everything done even when I feel junky. I just kind of sleep a lot and eat a lot of candy. Someone said, do you guys think you'll ever leave your small town and move to a bigger city? This is also in the category of I'm not sure, but I will tell you guys, God has done such a work in my life and in my heart, and I have no urge or desire at this point to move, which is like a miracle if I have ever heard one. If you have followed along with my journey, if you've watched my Rooted series, you know that those words are literally miraculous. I feel so contented. I feel so settled. I'm just really happy living here right now. I don't look up houses in other places. I don't obsessively try to plan a move at all. I'm really settled. I'm really happy here. And like I said, we've been dreaming about things that we could do living here, buying land, building a house that we could never do in a big city. And I don't know. I mean, if we were called somewhere else, we would pack up and move for sure. We're very open-minded about it, but for right now, we definitely know that we're meant to be here, and we are really happy. I mean, it's amazing. I'm really doing really well here. The last question I'll answer for today is, when will you release your Christmas shirts on your Etsy shop? So it is August 28th today when I'm filming this, and we're planning on launching them right around September 15th, like mid-December, so stay tuned. But I will say that there is a coupon code that is live right now that I shared on my vlog where I talked about our fall line launching, and the coupon code is Etsy15, and it will give you 15% your entire order. And I have not shared that code on social media. It's only been embedded in that one video and now this video. So if you have not seen my fall line, you have got to go check it out there. I'm really proud of it. I'm really excited about the designs, and 15% off your entire order is a good deal. So go ahead and check out, I'll leave a link below. Check out my Etsy shop, and especially my new fall line. And if you see something that strikes your fancy, make sure to use the code Etsy15 at checkout and you'll get 15% off your order. But yes, Christmas designs sometime around mid-September, and I'm so excited. All right, that's going to wrap up my Q&A for today. I couldn't answer every question, of course, because this video would be very long if I did that, since I tend to be sometimes a little long-winded. But anyway, thanks to those of you who left me a question. If you don't follow me on Instagram already, make sure you go ahead and follow me. My handle is Blair Blogs, and that way the next time I am doing a Q&A, which hopefully won't be in another year from now, if you want to join in, you can throw a question in the little box and I will try to answer it. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe to my channel for more. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.